Things are about to get spooky in here. Hey, welcome back everyone. So today I'm going to be talking about another deck that I have personally been playing a bunch lately, Altergeist. So if you guys aren't familiar with a deck that consists of set 5 pass and normal summon Miluseek and search Multifaker, it's relatively easy to understand on the structure of the deck, and it's nice in comparison to a lot of more extreme combo decks and even control decks. This is a really easy beginner deck to learn. Anyways, as always, if you haven't been here before, make sure to check out my other videos, more specifically my deck discussion series, which is up here, and you can find them by clicking on the link up above me, and consider leaving me a like and hitting that subscribe button so you can see more videos that I pop out next. Anyways, if you aren't familiar with how my deck discussion series goes, I give a brief discussion of the main cards in the archetype so you have a surface level understanding of what the main cards do. Then I do a deck profile of basically what I've been messing around with, just so you guys have an understanding on how the deck is built and just a little more substance. And then finally we see a couple interactions that are important in the deck, and because what's fun about watching a whole replay of a deck that sets 4 and loops Multifaker 20 turns in a row. Anyways, without further ado, let's get on to the card discussion. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about the Altergeist main deck and important cards. So first up, we've got Marionetter. Marionetter sets one of your Altergeist traps from your deck to your field, and Altergeist has two main traps, Manifestation and Protocol. These are the only two you'll ever play. Maybe if more support comes out in the future, you'll play other targets, but those are the only two targets for it. It's also got a second effect to target one Altergeist card you control and one in your monster in your graveyard. Send the first one and then special summon the other one. So it's really nice, especially if you have something like Miluseek on your field. You can send the Miluseek, then special summon a different monster from your graveyard, and then the Miluseek gets to trigger and search you a Multifaker, a Konkiri, a Silkitis, whatever monster you want. Which actually is a nice segue into Miluseek. Miluseek is our level 1, so it's a 1-for-1 target if you play it, but also Miluseek, when it's sent from the field to the grave, it triggers and searches another Altergeist card, so you can go 1-for-1 very easily. Its other effect is when you do damage to your opponent by attacking, it can send one card your opponent controls to the graveyard. The nice thing about it is it sends and not destroys. The other nice thing is it can attack directly with using its effects. So it's really good. Next is Altergeist Multifaker. Multifaker is amazing. It's a level 3 dark monster. Basically, whenever you resolve a trap, you can activate it from hand, special summon it, and then use its effect again to special summon from deck any Altergeist monster you want. So you can basically special summon Silkitis very easily. You can also summon Miluseek, so you can potentially get a search. You can summon Konkiri just so you can negate something. It's a very nice card. But yeah, that's basically the essence of Multifaker. It's a very good card. Silkitis is our bouncer, so he basically targets one other Altergeist card on your field and one card on your opponent's field, bounces them both back to hand. It's very nice to recur our Multifaker, recur our Konkiri, recur or protect our protocols, and etc. etc. It's very nice for simplifying game states as well. Konkiri is the least important guy, but when he's special summoned, she negates a card on your opponent's field on summon. It also also like a battle fader almost. Protect, if you have another Altergeist, you can special summon it and negate the battle, and then its second effect goes off. So as I mentioned before, Altergeist Protocol is our first trap. Basically, its first line reads, the activation of effects of Altergeist cards activated on the field can't be negated. So basically, if your opponent tries to negate Multi-Faker's effect while this is face up on the field, like say they try imperming the Multi-Faker, Protocol makes it so Multi-Faker still resolves and then special summons. It doesn't care. Its second effect is when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can send another face-up Altergeist card you control and then negate the activation and destroy it. And if you do destroy it, and you can only use that effect once per turn, but it's a negation, so it's like really nice. The second card is Altergeist Manifestation. Basically, you target an Altergeist in your graveyard, and it works like Call of the Haunted, basically. The nice thing is it's not a continuous trap, so if you like use Silkitis in chain to it, you can bounce the manifestation, summon the monster, and the monster stays, and you have this again for next turn. There's a lot of cool interactions with how this card is worded, and I deeply suggest you guys look into it more if you don't already know what it does. But it's a very good card for recursion and just keeping the game flow going. The last trap I'm going to discuss is Personal Spoofing, which is not an Altergeist card by name, but it's an Altergeist card in our hearts. Basically, shuffle one Altergeist from your hand or face-up field to the main deck, and then add an Altergeist card from your deck to your hand. The only problem is if this card is negated or leaves the field, it shuffles for cost. So you lose that resource and you lose the spoofing and you don't get your search. So you got to be careful when you activate this. Have some follow-up. As for the extra deck monster that they have, we only really play Hextia. Hextia is a Link 2 that gains attack based on the equal to the attack of the monster that's the Altergeist monster it points to. And basically, when a spell or trap is activated, you contribute an Altergeist that points to the one card it's pointing to, and then negate the activation and destroy it. Which is really nice because that's not hard once per turn, or once per turn at all. The other effect of this is when it leaves the field and goes to the graveyard, you can search any Altergeist card in your deck. But yeah, that's going to do it for our card breakdown. Now some pros and cons to the deck. Obviously, there's pros and cons to every deck, so we might as well go over this. The pros, it's a very great control deck. It's very explosive and can go 1-for-1 very well. Just depends on your hands. Cons, if you don't draw any of the Altergeist monsters, you basically just lose. You can only stall with traps for so long until your opponent just gains so much advantage that you win. Another con is that, like, in order for you to actually do anything, you need your traps to resolve. Having no traps and just, like, a Multi-Faker Silkitis, like, kind of sucks. The other last kind of con is that it's a bit slow to start. Other decks can go off like very fast. This not as much, but otherwise it's definitely a tier 2 or 3 deck depending on the format. It's a very good deck still, while we have other decks. Okay, so first off, we played 3 of all our searching cards: 3 Marionetter, 3 Miluseek, 3 Multi-Faker. We only played 2 Silkitis and 1 Konkiri because these are kind of the bricks of your decks. You don't really want to see these in your hand. Of course it happens, and it's no big deal when it does, but they don't give you much advantage on their own. We play 3 Extravagance and 3 Duality because, 1, both of them don't conflict with each other. Extravagance doesn't let you draw any cards, and this doesn't actually draw. This adds a card from deck to hand, and that matters. Duality is kind of better than Pot of Prosperity in this case, and I kind of like it because you don't really need to theoretically special summon during your turn. You only really do it on your opponent's turn. Even if you only end on a Miluseek with a bunch of back row, typically that's alright. because you oftentimes have protocol already on field, and you can just get the search during your opponent's turn for multi-faker. So it's just like, okay, that's cool. As for protocol and manifestation, we only play 2 protocol, 1 manifestation. Manifestation doesn't come up much, and protocol, it's a brick if you see multiple of them. So you really only want to see this being searched off of Marionetter. So really, you only need that. Spoofing helps us unbrick hands, like, a lot. You really, in general, play about 9 copies of Multi-Faker. Really 9 copies of any of monster you have, because of spoofing and Miluseek. They're very good. They all search each other, which is the real nice part. As for hand traps, we play 2 Bell, 1 Called By, 3 Ash, 3 Imperm, and then for our other stun traps, we play Solemn Strike, Torrential Tribute, and Imperial Order. We can play Judgment, I just don't because I wanted to mess with Torrential Tribute a little bit, but Judgment, Anti-Spell, all those are really good cards. I'm not going to explain the side deck too much because that's up to interpretation based on the format, and it doesn't really matter too much. As for our extra deck, we built it around the fact that we're playing Extravagance, so we play 3 Hextia and then 2 of everything else. Oftentimes, you don't even need to use most of these other than like 1 of the Link ones, but it doesn't really matter too much. You control the game from your main deck, not your extra deck. But yeah, that's going to be it for the extra deck. Okay guys, so here are the interactions that I just want to showcase a little bit. They're just a little fun interactions that could pop up in a game every now and then, and it would be nice for you guys to know them. So first off, we are going to start off with 2 set cards and 1 Miluseek in the graveyard. So we're going to have Manifestation and Spoofing set. This can have a much more complex game state right now, but I'm just going to show you the simplified game state. So we're going to activate Manifestation, chain in Spoofing, send Manifestation back to the deck to shuffle it. We're going to still summon Miluseek off of that because it allows us to. That's how the text is wording. That's why I was like earlier in the video, make sure to read the text in depth. We're going to add Multi-Faker, and Multi-Faker is going to trigger and summon Sulcitis, and that's going to be basically the end of the little combo. You can obviously extend this even further, go into Hextia, etc., etc. if you really wanted. If you had extra stuff in hand and on field, of course you go do that. But that's just a little interaction I want to show you. Now I'm going to show you a little interaction just during the battle phase that you can do with Konkiri and Sulcitis on the field. So we're going to have 3 monsters your opponent has. You're going to stop all 3 of those. Okay, so first off, they're going to use Hextia to attack Faker. This is just an example, of course. It could be anything. Hextia is going to attack Faker. We're going to use Konkiri to activate and special summon itself, negating something. It doesn't matter what it negates at this point. Their attack is going to be negated, and that's what it matters. Phoenix, the first Phoenix is going to attack Sulcitis. Sulcitis is going to bounce the Konkiri and bounce the Phoenix number 1. And that way, they're down 2 battles. Next, they're going to attack with the Phoenix number 2 on whatever. We're going to use Konkiri again because it's not once per turn. Konkiri is going to negate the 3rd attack and negate another thing on field, and that's going to be it for the battle phase. If they only have 3 monsters, you can do it. Believe me. But that is it for the second replay. For the final replay, it's going to be a slightly more complex game state. This game state is going to have Manifestation equipped with Miluseek, just as an example technically. Miluseek doesn't actually matter, but I chose Miluseek because it's a really good card. And we're going to have Marionetter with a Multi-Faker specifically engrave. Okay, so first off, we are going to activate Marionetter to kill the Manifestation, or the Miluseek, I guess, but Manifestation is the target. We're going to send both of those because Miluseek is equipped, and we're going to summon Multi-Faker, which is going to trigger Chain 1 Multi-Faker, Chain 2 Miluseek. Miluseek is going... The reason why I chose Miluseek is mostly because it's going to chain block in this scenario. And now we get to resolve our Multi-Faker, even if we don't have Protocol and they have an Ash or something. We get to just protect. We're going to add Konkiri just as a scapegoat, sort of. And then we're going to summon Selkitis. From here, this here is a good board on its own, but from here I'm going to extend further using the Marionetter and Multi-Faker into go into Hextia, pointing to the Selkitis. From here, we're going to even extend even further and use both of them to summon another Hextia. Hextia is going to trigger chain 1, Selkitis is going to target chain 2, and we are going to chain block effectively again. We're going to add Manifestation to hand, and we are going to add Protocol from deck to hand. And then we are going to end on 2 sets. This is really nice because, 1, during our opponent's standby phase, which I'm going to show you, we're going to activate that manifestation, summon a Multi-Faker, not to the zone that Hextia points to. We're going to summon a Selkitis to that zone. That way it gets the boost with the negate, and the Selkitis can still trigger to bounce the manifestation to hand, while also being able to be used as a material. This is optimal for the game state, just in this position. We also have protection from battle 3 times if we need to, up to 3 times, and we have a monster negation, spell negation, and a bounce in general. So it's just a really nice complex board state, which you guys should be able to do every now and then, which is very nice. Not this specific combo, of course, there's other variations, but you get the gist. Anyways, that's going to wrap it up for the interactions. Hey guys, I just wanted to say one last thing. If you want to check out one of my more popular videos, that would be the video on the left. And if you want to check out one of my more recent videos, that video will be on the right. I will see you guys soon. Peace.